Hello, my name is Brian Parsons. I'm the author of Energy Astrology Volume 1 Introduction and Really Useful Crystals Volume 1. And once again, this is another video book review for the Vibrational Doorways Crystals group and other people who are interested in crystals. And we're focusing our reviews on books which are very pertinent and useful for the times which we are living in, the turbulent times that are taking place around the world. And today's book is Crystal Healing by Simon and Sue Lilly, which is also the practical guide to using crystals for health and well-being. Now, the first thing I'd like to say is that this is the first edition of the book. However, there is also a subsequent second edition, and this is what we'll call the Blue Book. However, the second and more recent edition of the book is an orange, and I am now going to show you an image of that particular book. So this is the orange book. This is the most recent edition of the book. So it's much more likely that if you go onto Amazon you will see that, the orange book, advertised, although it's also possible you will see advertisers, sellers, offering the blue book. The thing to remember is they are the same book. The blue book and the orange book are the same book. So to avoid confusion, I just wanted to start with that piece of information. Okay. Now let's dive into this particular book, Crystal Healing. Before just quickly diving in, I'd just like to say that Simon and Sue Lilly have worked and explored lots of different healing systems, methodologies over the course of their career. They've been involved with Touch for Health, various types of kinesiology, colour therapy, essence, gem essence and flower essences, lots and lots of and their understanding of herbs, etc. So all of this is woven into the books that they produce. So they're very experienced energy workers, and they're also very experienced teachers. And so when they write a book, they're bringing all of that wisdom, knowledge, experience, information into what they are offering. So let's dive in. So Crystal Healing, nice images, contents. There's a foreword. Then personal path to healing. Because one of the things that Sue and Simon are always saying is that it's sort of like each person is an individual, so there are common paths and threads that many of us share, but we're all individuals. So when you are approaching someone from the perspective of healing, you really have to sort of like stand back and go, okay, what is your need? What is your personal path that you are walking? Then we have a chapter on the past, magic and belief, so how you connect with crystals, the whole thing about do you need to work with perfect crystals or not, which actually you don't. You don't need to have the most expensive or the most perfect crystal to actually work with the crystal. The energy, the vibration of the crystal comes from the molecular level, so, and that is shared by a tumbled stone that you get from a shop for $1 or £1, and the most expensive crystal in the museum. The molecular structure is the same. Then we have a section on preliminaries and precautions in terms of what you need to do to set up a healing session, how to go about cleansing, different cleansing, how you need to be grounded and integrated as well as your client, and so there's information on grounding. Then we've got subtle layers of the anatomy, understanding the chakras, and also how to balance the chakras. The Seal of Solomon layout, And then a very important technique called 5-line clearing, which is Sue and Simon's signature technique. Okay, and then there's something I would just like to say, because if you go online and you find Sue Lilly's YouTube channel, Sue has very graciously posted out a large collection of videos which support their techniques. So you can find the video on the 5-line clearing, so as well as reading the book, you can actually see it being demonstrated. It's not that hard a technique, it's quite simple and straightforward once you understand it. So as well as the information in the book, many of the techniques that they're putting out in their work has a correlating, if that's the right word, video, a supporting video online in Sue Lilly's YouTube channel. I can't say all of them, but a great many do, and this is one of them, 5-line clearing, because it is such a simple, straightforward and yet powerful technique. So we've got 5-line clearing. And then what this book does is the next chapters go into specific areas. So here we have healing the body. And we start with a range of crystals, so black tourmaline, smoky hematite, obsidian, magnetite and lodestone, jasper, garnet, ruby, which have a pronounced effect on the physical body. And there is a write-up and keywords about each particular crystal. Now, something that I would like to stress is that Sue and Simon are very grounded individuals. So, and it is very unlikely that in any of your books you'll read something about this stone will take you to the Mayan temple of healing, where you will meet the goddess of blancmange, who will cover you with her love, blah blah blah. That's not their style. Okay, so the information that they are presenting here is not sort of otherworldly. It's very grounded. It's very practical. It's very down to earth. Okay, now for some people might find it's not as let's call it as imaginative as some other writers, but if you want to sort of get to grips of what the energy of a stone is about, they try and give you that information. And also, because they're not hyping it up, the information that they give is very practical and is very useful. Okay, it goes to the essence of what a crystal vibration is all about. So, as we'll see in a minute, there are various sections on different crystals, and then, and this is why I really like this book, they give you information on different issues. Okay, now, just to put it in context, a great many crystal Bibles, they'll say this book, this crystal is for anxiety, say. But then they don't really go on to explain how you use it, which is sort of half the importance, half the process, because knowing how to use the crystals, make them really effective. So what this book does, it takes an issue, various levels as we'll see, gives you information to put that issue into context. So for example, another book might say this stone is for anxiety, but doesn't really explain what anxiety is. Where Sue and Simon, when they tackle an issue, they explain what they mean by that issue, and then they give you maybe stones, but also a layout, a specific layout using crystals that are reasonably easy to get hold of, or give you options. And then that gives you a technique to work with that issue. That is why I find this book so very, very useful, because they're not saying this crystal is for anxiety and then leaving you to your own devices. They are saying this layout, this crystal is useful for this issue, and this is how you can use it for yourself or for friends or family. Okay? So, just going through, we've got aligning bones and muscles, easing headaches and insomnia, activating circulation and digestion, energizing the brain and nervous system, maintaining hormones in the skin, stabilizing the breath, detoxifying the body, dealing with infertility, enhancing immunity and well-being. And then we go on to the next section, which is balancing the mind. So once again, balancing the mind, and we come in and we see, I think it's 8 crystals. Yes, 8 crystals, which they have found to be really effective at balancing the mind. And then you go through to different issues that relate to the mind. So building self-confidence. So there's information about self-confidence, puts it into context, and then, well, here you've actually got 1 and 2 different layouts that you can use, and also more information down here. So once again, they're not sort of just giving you a vague idea and then leaving you wondering what to do. They are showing you what to do. They're giving you ideas. They're making it real and concrete. Challenging fear and anxiety. Well, that's very, very relevant to what's going on in the world today. So once again, put it in context, give you ideas, gives you practical ways of working with it. Transforming anger. Now, to be honest, I think anger is going to be something that we're going to be also dealing with over the next couple of years. So this gives you practical ways to work with them, with anger, using crystals. Calming oversensitivity. Expanding love and compassion. Well, we could all do with some of that. Dealing with depression. That's going to be something that comes up a lot in the coming years, I'm afraid. Finding security is another one. Breaking habits. Overcoming addictions. And then, next one, a whole section on coping with change. We have the stones, 1, 2, 3, 8 again. 8 stones, which they have found very, very useful for coping with change. And if you stand back, and we all have change in our life, and we all have to cope with change. And our effectiveness as human beings is being able to cope with change. So this is quite an important section in its own right. So we've got birth and new beginnings. We've got ideas, we've got a layout. Death and endings. Study and exams. Changes in lifestyle. Menopause. New environments. Relationship problems. Oh, and the part 2, relationship problems. Obviously, relationship problems requires 2 sections. And then serious illness. Serious accidents. Because serious accidents can actually leave trauma in the subtle bodies and need to be cleared. So there's a whole section on serious accidents. And then we come through to another section, which is feeding the spirit. And once again, we have our 8 stones that they found to be very effective in this particular area of life. And then moving forwards, a section on that. Shifting blocks to process. No, let's start again. Shifting blocks to progress. Yes. Removing negative patterns. Cosmic stress. Also, cosmic stress is also astrological stress as well. Initiation cycles. Past and other lives. Meditation with crystals. So how you could meditate with crystals. Aids to meditation. Spiritual realms. And then a section on living in harmony. So it's, once again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stones. And then going into electromagnetic stress, geopathic stress, So geopathic stress is the stress when you are not in alignment with the you're not in alignment with that part of the planet where you are standing. Okay. Whereas electromagnetic stress is much more likely when you are not in harmony with the gadgets and gizmos and computers and electromagnetic fields of the modern world. So there's a section on how you can deal with that, and there's a section on how you can sort of like deal with geobiology. It's sort of like the term for this particular area, and it's not as difficult as you might think. And then we've got planetary consciousness, you know, how we're tuning to the planet itself. Environmental toxicity, yeah. Finding your centre, so coming from a place of, oh, let's get the image in the centre. Finding your centre, and the book wasn't in the centre of the image. There you go. So we're finding our centre for the book as well as finding our centre for ourselves. So finding your centre, and then a crystal directory. So they've gone and given you key ideas for lots of different stones. So flints, numerites, iron quartz, Vesuvianites. So it's okay. It's not a huge crystal Bible, but with Sue and Simon, they're giving you the pertinent points and information relating to lots and lots. Well, it ends there. So lots of other stones as well. And then we've got glossary, further reading, and an index at the end. So let's make sure it's in the centre. Right. So once again, I really rate this book, and the reason I do so is because it is a very, very practical book. It gives you ideas of how you can deal with issues that you are dealing with, that your friends and family may be dealing with, if they are open to allowing you to use your crystals on them, around them, with them. But it does so in a way that gives you explanations of why something is effective and why something is useful. And the information they give you about the crystals themselves is not too otherworldly, is not too impractical. They are also, this is something that Sue and Simon are very, very hot on, let's say. It's that they would much rather teach you how to use the crystals which are readily and easily available and won't break the bank than teaching you about a rare crystal that will be, if you could get it, it would be very expensive, but you probably can't get it. They don't see there's any point in that. So the stuff that they talk about, you should be able to source the crystals from your local shops or very easily online, and it, you know, for them in the main, it won't break the bank. So there we go. That's our next book review done. Just want to say once again, this is the image again. This is the current version of the book. You might see the blue one advertised, which is why I'm showing you that, but the orange one is the one that you're most likely to see on places like Amazon, etc., etc. So please don't get confused. However, I just want to end with one point, is that you are able to also order them from Sue and Simon themselves on their website, which is coming to the screen now. To order this particular book, I would strongly recommend order it from them, because it puts them in a better position. And yeah, we all like to support our crystal authors in the best way. So once again, ta-da! Crystal Healing, The Practical Guide to Using Crystals for Health and Well-Being by Sue and Simon Lilly. Highly recommended. And that's it for today, and we'll be moving on to another book in the next video review coming soon. And I hope everybody's having a safe and grounded time out there. Okay, for now, bye.